Hello again, everyone. So, welcome to this week's dose of growth, which is all about how you can control your life. Um, Now, I see a lot of people who generally come to me because they feel like part of their life they can't control, or something's not going. They're at a crossroad. They don't know how to make a decision. They feel stuck. They feel like things outside of them are controlling them, and they don't know how to regain control of their life. So I thought I'd do a video where you can learn how to regain control of your life and how to fundamentally control your life moving forward. So, if that's for you, then let's get started. So, what you can see here, I'm going to start with this graphic here. So, what you can see here, this person is you. This person represents you. So we've got you up there, and this person's you. Okay, and this is your bubble. Okay. So your bubble represents everything about you. It represents your body, your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, how you react to things, and so forth. So everything about you. Okay. This is everything else. Okay. So this is everything outside of you. Okay. So this could be, oops, we're not up to that bit yet. So this could be, other people. It could be, oh my goodness, stop doing that. There we go. It could be, circumstances, unplanned events that come into your life, and so forth. So it's basically everything outside of you. Okay. Now, what happens is normally when people start to feel overwhelmed or stressed or anxious, it's because they're worried about things outside of them taking control of their life. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a job interview coming up, okay, and you're feeling really anxious and stressed because you have no control over how the other people are going to react or what they're going to do. You're putting yourself in a situation that you have very little control over the outcome, in the sense that you can't control what other people think, say, or do, and you don't know the other person. Okay, so there's that unknown aspect as well. Okay, but the whole illusion here is that you have no control, because you actually do have control, and we're going to touch on that now. Okay, but the whole reason that we have that stress, that anxiousness, is because we're living the mentality that we have no control. Okay, because something outside of us, we're basically outsourcing or giving our control to something outside of us. Okay, so what you can see here is there are two components. Okay, we have the internal and the external. Okay, so the internal generally lines up with what you can control, and the external lines up with what you can't control. So things outside of you. So what can you control? What are the internal things? Okay, the internal things are things like your thoughts. Okay, you can control how you think, your sleep. Okay, you can control your sleep. You can control what time you go to sleep. If you're going to be looking at your phone or device, or if you're going to be reading, and so forth. So you can set yourself up for success with good sleep. Your diet, what you ingest, what you intake. Okay, your food. Okay, you can control that. Okay. Now, being able to control your food and your sleep alone is very powerful. If you have very good habits, you can live a very fulfilling, or you can feel very fulfilled. Okay. And you can live a very healthy life. Okay, because that means that your hormones are regulating, and you can become more optimistic, have a more positive outlook on life, and so forth. Another example of an internal I guess thing aspect is your social interaction. Okay, so internal things that you can control is your social interaction. So you can choose who you are friends with. You can choose who you want to see. You can even choose your job, who you want to work with to some extent. Okay, so those things are in your control. You can choose to go out or not to go out. You can choose to stay home and have a bit of a alone time, or you can choose to go out and socialize. So these are things that are inside your control. If someone doesn't resonate with you, you can choose to stop being friends with them, and vice versa. You can choose a different social circle that you do resonate with. Okay. So external things. So when is it that we normally feel stressed, anxious, even angry, or these really intense negative emotions? Okay, it's when we outsource our control, when we think that things outside of us are controlling us. For example, traffic. Okay, road rage. I'm always talking about road rage. That's a classic example. You know, people lying. If other people are lying to you, you have no control over that. You cannot control whether someone is lying to you or not. Okay, but once again, you can control your reaction to that. You can control whether you want to be friends with that person or be in their presence, whether you want to believe them or not. Those are things in your control. You can't control things like the weather. That's external to you. That's outside of you. Okay. So that's in the everything else pile. Okay. So whether it's stormy or whether it's a nice sunny day, snowing, whatever it is, okay, you can't control the weather. Okay. Financial loss. Okay, you cannot control aspects of financial loss. For example, if you have shares in the stock exchange and they plummet, you have no control over that. If all of a sudden a huge bill comes, you have no control over that. If interest rates rise, you have no control over that. Okay, so financial loss is another aspect of things that you have no control over. Okay, or limited control over. So on that, though, for example, with financial loss, okay, you might set yourself up for success by, having adequate savings, or having an adequate income through your profession, or having a profession where if something does happen with your job, you can find a job somewhere else. Okay, even your attitude, and I'll give you an example. There are numerous people out there who get on a high horse and who feel like they can't be a cleaner or they can't be an Uber driver or a taxi driver or a job like that, But you can control your values, and sometimes shifting your values so that you can bring more of an income in is a very helpful way to mitigate any risk of financial loss. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we have control over things like that. We have control over our values, over our beliefs, over our thoughts, lifestyle, all those things. So with this being said, this is a general overview. This is a very general overview of what we can and what we can't control. So how do we get control of our life? So I've put together some things that we can do. Okay, I've put together 5 points here, 5 points of things, five things that you can do. So we'll go over them one by one. So the first one is focus on what you can control. So if you feel like you're starting to lose control of your life, or you feel like there's stress or anxiety coming in, okay, focus on what you can control. Focus on your thoughts. Focus on, if you are, for example, going to a job interview, to prepare yourself, set yourself up for success, rehearse. Okay, make sure you get adequate sleep, make sure you eat healthily, set yourself up for success. So focus on what you can control. There's the old saying, and most coaches know this, okay, what you focus on, where you focus on, energy flows. Okay, so if you're going to focus on things that you can't control, well, that's where you're going to give energy to. Okay, if you're going to focus on what you can control, then that's what you're going to give energy to, and that's what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to control yourself because you're focusing on that. Okay, so focus on what you can control and work with that. Okay, have a timeout for about 10 minutes. Okay. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel overwhelmed and you feel like something outside of you is controlling you or stressing you out, take some time out. Okay. Walk away. All right. When we feel threatened, when we feel like we're put in a stressful situation, our amygdala kicks in. This is a little part of the brain, which basically activates our fight flight. And when that happens, we basically go into instinct mode. Okay, we cannot think rationally, and there is no way we're going to be able to regain control in that state. So taking some time out for about 10 minutes helps calm you down. Okay, so take a few breaths, walk away, go for a walk outside, go in nature, whatever it takes. Just take some time out from the situation. Okay. And also, for example, if you're going to a job interview, or if you're going into a situation where you would normally feel stressed or anxious because you can't control the outcome of the situation, just take some time before you go in there, just to center yourself. Okay, just to breathe, just to you know, maybe do some meditation, or listen to a podcast or something, whatever gets you to that happy space, okay, before you go into that situation. Okay. Number three, do yourself first. Do you first. Okay. So by that I mean put yourself first. And you can see here at the bottom, I said there is nothing selfish with putting yourself first. Okay. Because fundamentally, you cannot you cannot help others. You cannot do things to the external world unless you yourself are in a good state, are in a state of peace. So give yourself permission to put yourself first. Okay. And when you put yourself first, it means that you're focusing on you. You're focusing on your bubble, your thoughts, your sleep, your diet, social interaction. Okay. So you're focusing on your actions, your reactions. You're focusing on you, on the tools that are within your own tool chest. Okay. So put yourself first. Give yourself permission to put yourself first. And by that I mean, if you need to walk away, then walk away. Okay. If you need to say no to someone or something because you're not able to follow through, then say no. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. It's better to say no and have those healthy boundaries in place, and get yourself sorted, so that you can go and do what needs to be done, rather than say yes, but you're not in that state. You're not in the right state to do what needs to be done, and fundamentally, and then that the result of that, the consequence of that, is you'll most likely not do a good job at whatever it is you're doing, or it won't be done the way you want to do it because you're in that stressed out state. Okay. Practice reframing. Okay, now we don't actually see the world in the way the world is. We're not objective. A lot of people think they're objective, but we are not objective. What we see the world the way we are. Okay. We basically frame everything in our life. Now, what is framing? Okay, so my experience, and when I go through a certain situation, it's different from your experience. And if we go through the same thing, okay, I'm going to react differently to you. Now, why is that? Well, I have a different upbringing to you. Okay. We have probably different values, probably different belief systems. We've had different social interactions. Okay. Our social conditioning is different. All right. So I view the world from my frame, and you view the world from your frame. Okay. So if you're put in a situation where you feel like you're losing control, there are other people who are in that situation who may not feel like they're losing control because they see things from a different frame than you would. Okay. So by practicing to reframe, what that means is that you want to practice seeing things from a different perspective. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that you need to go into a situation. You need to go shopping. Okay. And you hate crowds. All right. And every time you go shopping, it's always awful because there's always so many people there, and the lines are long, and so forth. Okay. So you're telling yourself, oh, goodness, I hate this. I don't want to go shopping. It's just awful, but it has to be done. If I don't do it, it's not going to get done. And, we need this and we need that. And so what you're doing is you're framing that experience in a negative light. Okay. And it might take an hour. It might take an hour to go shopping. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is awful. I don't like the other people and all that sort of stuff. And that's fine. I mean, if that's the way some people are, then that's perfectly fine. Social anxiety is a real thing. And there's strategies and ways to go around to work through that. So in this example, okay, the frame of this person is, I don't like to go shopping. It is a negative experience for me, and I feel stressed and anxious. So they're already setting themselves up for that stress and anxiety, okay? Because they believe that the other people and the experience of shopping is controlling them. Now, let's flip the switch on that and let's reframe. Now, let's say you need to go shopping, okay? instead of thinking, oh my goodness, it's a negative experience, I don't like this, I don't want to be around people, you know, reframing would be, okay, I need to go shopping. It's going to take me an hour. I'm going to listen to a podcast for an hour and I'm really going to enjoy that time. I'm going to enjoy shopping. I'm going to listen to some music that I like, or listen to a podcast that I like, and I'm really just going to go there, and I'm just going to get what I need to get. When I get home, it will be done. I'll have what I need, and I don't need to go back there for another week. And I can enjoy the experience while I'm there. Okay. So that's reframing. That's turning something negative into something positive, something pessimistic into something optimistic. Okay. So that's another way, because you can control what you listen to, you can control that. You might even change the time that you go shopping. You might even say, you know what, I'm going to go shopping a little bit later when it's less crowded. You can control the time that you go shopping. Okay. So that's another version of reframing. I don't like it at that time, but that's okay. I'm going to go a bit later and I'm going to enjoy it. So the reframing is, shopping is a bad experience and I never like shopping, to, well, I don't like being around, I don't feel comfortable being around that crowds. It's not shopping that's the bad experience. I'm just going to change time. I'm going to remove myself from that crowd and choose a lighter crowd. Okay, so things like that. Number 5, become the observer. Now, by that, I mean, when you feel like you're losing control, what you can actually do is you can actually visualize yourself losing control. Okay. So observe yourself losing the control. Kind of like if you're in a room, you can see, you're like the camera observing the situation. Okay. So what you can do is you can actually witness yourself losing control. Okay. Or, look at yourself where, how you feel like you're losing control. And by the act of observing, you can actually start to shift your experience over that. Okay, so for example, if I'll give you the shopping example again. Okay, let's say you're shopping and you start to feel anxious. And you start to feel like you're losing control because there's a long line and there's loud kids everywhere, people everywhere, and someone probably just bumped into you by accident. Okay, and whatever. Okay, so what you do is you take a step back and you observe yourself pushing the trolley or picking up the things, as an observer, like you're watching a film, like you're watching a movie. Okay. This is something that's practiced by by some, at least, that I know of, therapists, to become the observer. And the reason why that's really helpful is because it actually takes you out of the situation. Okay. You stop the this is happening to me, like from the this is happening to um to something more along the lines of this is just happening and I'm witnessing it for what it is. Okay. Because when someone bumps into you, for example, you might think, oh, that person should have seen what they're doing and they did this to me. Whereas as the observer, you would look at that and go, oh, that person was, they didn't know I was there. You probably realize, oh, they didn't know I was there. They were focusing on something else, and 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 they bumped by accident, and that's okay. But you can witness that as the observer. And what that also does is, if you realize that they don't see you there, you can even pull them up on it and say, "Excuse me, you just bumped into me," you know. Or they may be aware and they may apologize. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there, because maybe they didn't see you there. All right, but you can get that information by becoming the observer, taking yourself out of the situation and observing what's going on. Okay, so this last point actually does take a bit of practice. But it's very powerful. It's very powerful when you practice it. Okay, and you can actually practice it at home. Set yourself up for success. Practice it at home. If you're reading a book, okay, if you're reading a book, and you're engrossed in the book, or you listen to a podcast, just start watching yourself listening to the podcast. or start watching yourself reading the book. Okay. The more you practice that, the easier it becomes. And then when you're, when you're driving, or when you're in crowds, or when you're outside in an uncomfortable situation, you can actually observe yourself in that situation. Okay. So these are 5 things that you can do to help you control your life. And I've already touched on this point down here. There's nothing selfish with putting yourself first, because fundamentally you can't help others unless you help yourself first. You can't give to others unless you give to yourself first. So self-care, self-development, looking after yourself first is crucial. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to touch again on ultimate anger management. So this is a 6 week. This is basically a community that I've put together. Oh goodness, and I didn't even change this. I use the same slide that I used last week, and this is actually changing now because I'm doing monthly Zoom gatherings instead of weekly Zoom gatherings. The reason for that is there's just not enough people, and at this point, because it's still growing, and for the first 50, all right, so it was 100, but I've changed it to 50. For the first 50 people who join, it will be free. Okay, and it's the ultimate it's the ultimate anger cause. It's the ultimate anger community. There's nothing like this in the world. Okay, and the idea is that you get an intensive 6 week course, okay, with a workbook. You get an online community that you can engage in to help you through your journey of anger. You get Zoom meetings where we meet and I host. And the idea is that we have a whole bunch of people there, or, we have people attending, and they can tell us their stories and their successes and their fallbacks. And if someone needs help, you've got the community there that you can interact with. And you get lifetime membership. So for the first 50 people, you'll be known, or you'll be classed as what's called a founding member, which means that you will have lifetime access to this community. Okay. So for the time being, until we get the 50 range, it'll most likely be monthly Zoom meetings instead of weekly Zoom meetings. But when people need to start paying, that will shift to weekly Zoom meetings. So this is still new. So please join. We already have a few members, but the more the merrier. Okay, we really want to build a global community here, a space, a hub where people can learn to manage their anger, to manage intense emotions, to learn all about emotional resilience and become more resilient themselves. So please join. Pass this on to friends, family, anyone that you think can benefit from this. We are looking for new members. Okay, the first 50 members will be founding members and have completely free access the rest of their life to this platform. After that, there'll be a monthly subscription. Okay, so if you're going to join, the time is now. Okay, the time is now. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I'm just going to stop sharing. And if you have, please feel free to leave a comment, provide some feedback, like, subscribe. That helps with the YouTube algorithm so that more people can get access to this content, and we can help more people. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.